What's going on, everybody? Here I'm back with another video here at Crypto Nation Reacts. Please, if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe and hit the like button. It's totally free. So yesterday I reacted on a video about CZ Binance. He was here in Seattle, Washington, where I reside, where I live, and he was at the federal court to get, I guess, the plead guilty. Now apparently they're charging him now, and he had to pay 4.3 billion fine. So now it seems like they're just really getting on his butt now. Like I said, believe this was all a setup to go ahead and get Binance out the way. It's because they know our next crypto bull run is going to be big. So it's all about power at this point. They just want to be able to control, Bitcoin and crypto here in the U.S. Even though this is the last country to get, to finally start getting regulation, but they figure out what it is, the technology and everything with blockchain. So it's all a monopoly. It's all big business. That's what it is. Like I said, they've been playing chess this whole bear market. They've been playing chess. That's what they've been doing between, Binance, BlackRock, Coinbase, Crypto.com and all that. They just want to hold the top. They don't want Binance to have that top spot. You know what I mean? Like they did for years. But anyways, let's get right on to it.
Binance, things just got worse for Binance. As we know from yesterday's video, Binance just got criminally charged.
Binance has agreed to plead guilty to willfully violating the Bank Secrecy Act, knowingly failing to register as a money transmitting business, and willfully violating the International Emergency Economic Powers Act.
They also got fined. This is actually one of the largest fines in history of the U.S. Treasury.
The Justice Department is requiring Binance to pay $4.3 billion in penalties and forfeitures.
This is the largest enforcement action in the history of the Treasury Department, and you get a sense of why that is when you read the specifics of what the Treasury is laying out here.
And of course, founder and CEO CZ has also pleaded guilty.
We have also filed a felony charge against and secured a guilty plea from Changpeng Zhao. Zhao willfully violated federal law that requires financial institutions to guard against money laundering and terrorist financing.
And as BNB token dips, yet Bitcoin, the Bitcoin price continues to rally. What comes next for Binance will shock you.
All of that is the reason why the Treasury Department is now imposing monitoring on Binance, which will get active reports inside the firm to understand what's going on in real time. Monitoring has never been done before in the cryptocurrency space. We have seen that in other criminal allegations in corporate America. This will be a first for the crypto space.
So even though Binance Exchange is not a U.S. company, it appears they will now be monitored by the U.S. government.
And there also is an important detail here, Scott, which they're calling the SAR look back. SAR is, again, the Suspicious Activity Report. The Treasury Department is going to get a look back at suspicious activity that took place historically on Binance. So they're going to get intelligence on all sorts of alleged criminal and terrorist transactions that took place on that exchange going back for years. It will be a treasure trove for U.S. investigators, U.S. intelligence, U.S. law enforcement, and the rest as they pour through all those transactions and try to make connections and follow the money going back years here, Scott. So a real historic.
So with the U.S. government combing through past transactions, are you in trouble with the U.S. government if you used Binance in the past? Here's who they're looking for.
Terrorist financing took place on the Binance exchange, including for groups like Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Hamas, and others. They're saying that ransomware was paid for on the Binance exchange. They're saying that child sex abuse materials were paid for on the Binance exchange. Binance never reported transactions with websites devoted to selling child sex abuse materials. They're also saying that all sorts of illegal activity, including drug purchases, were transferred on.
Man, bro, this is kind of crazy, man. If CZ actually knew that this was going on his exchange with all this criminal activity with child trafficking, drugs, terrorism, and all that, if he actually purposely knew that this was going on and he turned a blind eye, didn't care, he was just thinking about pure profits, man, this is not good on his part. I'll say he is, kind of bad. Just another bad billionaire. That's what I'll say. If he actually knew that this was going on, like the fact that he's not even fighting it, that the fact that he pleaded guilty, I don't know, that says a lot. If I'm CZ and I know I wasn't involved, I didn't know nothing about this, I'm like, if you're worth $60 billion, I'm quite sure he could have afforded the top notch lawyers like in the world, right? But the fact that he didn't fight it, he just stepped down and paying the 4.3 billion. That says a lot to me. I don't know. That says a lot.
On the exchange through darknet markets, scams, and other illicit activity.
So you're fine. Most of us are fine. The government is looking for the big crimes, the big players. And keep in mind, founder CZ does now face a maximum of 10 years in prison with fines up to $500,000, plus any profits he made from the alleged scheme. Although, as stated by the judge at the hearing, Zhao's agreement includes a waiver of his right to appeal, provided that his sentence doesn't exceed 18 months. So many people are saying that 18 months would be the absolute maximum, but when in doubt, zoom out, learn from the past. History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Founder of BitMEX, Arthur Hayes, which at the time was near the #1 exchange in the world, much like Binance, is the #1 exchange now. Arthur, founder CEO, who by the way I partied with in Singapore, he throws a rager, he got near the same charges and he did no jail time.
I am Sergey Nazarov, the CEO of Chainlink Labs. Today marks a historic day for us at Chainlink Labs.
I think he got like 2 years probation and had to step down as CEO. BitMEX was also not a US company, and Arthur Hayes did not live in America. He saw no jail time. CZ was not running an American company, so if Arthur Hayes got 1 to 2 years probation, my bet is CZ gets 2 to 5. And Bitcoin is pumping because now we have clarity. The dark clouds around Binance are starting to clear up.
The reaction I'm getting from investors, those in the crypto space, is actually pretty optimistic. They're saying this was the last shoe to drop. This was the big uncertainty hanging over these markets, and that if it can survive something like this happening, CZ getting taken out as the CEO of this company, that there's a lot of optimism that maybe this is now priced in. They know what the price tag is in terms of the resolution, the plea deal here. Binance is not shutting down. It now makes up about 30% of global volume. It was 80% at one point. But that worst case scenario of Binance needing to shut down is not happening. So there's a little bit of optimism here, despite this being objectively negative news.
And by the way, even the alleged illicit activity that the US government said Binance facilitated is nothing compared to what happens with the dollar.
Less than 1% of activity in crypto is for illicit purposes like those that you just described. By the way, the US dollar cash is about 4% used for illicit activity. So crypto is certainly not unique in that a small percentage of bad actors try to use it. That's why we at Coinbase, for instance, have really strong transaction monitoring programs, and we've invested a lot in these programs around KYC and AML. But the centralized actors need to follow those rules.
I personally think CZ didn't have to do any of this. He chose to let's just pay the fine. I'll step down. Binance can go on its way on its own. By the way, he still retains majority share, so he still has ownership. But now that this dark cloud has been lifted off of the space, the Bitcoin price did dip on the news, but look, it appears we're already higher. And it makes sense, right? Banks have been fined for the exact same thing, if not worse. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen can't pronounce Binance.
We are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
All while all the major Bitcoin ETF companies.
That's funny. She called it Binance. That's funny right there.
Readied their application secretly. Grayscale had meetings with the SEC's Division of Trading and Markets yesterday, meaning Grayscale is cooking. Also, Cathie Wood's company becomes the first issuer to publicly disclose basis points fees for its Bitcoin ETF, signaling constructive talks with the SEC. And with the looming approval of the BlackRock Spot Bitcoin ETF combined with the Bitcoin halving next year, this could be the perfect storm.
We know in the past that Bitcoin has had these 2-year cycles that are generally centered around the halvening. And so we have another halvening coming up in April. And I'm not one of those people that thinks the halvening is the actual catalyst. but it's one of those sentiment things that all of a sudden now you have a reduction in supply. Couple that with the fact that we have the Federal Reserve that is likely done for some time being of raising rates. If not, we don't think they're going to go to 10%. Maybe they go to 5.5%, right? And then the second part of that is we now have these ETF filings. So for the first time ever, just like the gold ETF, you're going to have retail investors, not that they couldn't buy it before, but now registered investment advisors, your Morgan Stanley wealth manager can allocate to this. And so that's what's got the market excited about this new ETF.
This is an ongoing story, so click subscribe to stay informed. In altcoin news, we have Thorchain making moves. The monthly trading volume on Thorchain has exceeded now $5 billion, the highest it has ever been. This is good for the Rune token.
So there we have it. It looked like Binance. Well, one of my subscribers was worried if Binance is going to go under because I guess they knew the crypto and they had crypto and money on their Binance. So it looked like so I guess that answers your question. It looked like Binance is, they're still going to be in business. They're just going to be under different leadership. But like they say, CZ, he still own the majority of the company. So he's just stepping down as CEO. But I'm quite sure he's still going to be in the background. You know what I mean? If that's like at the end of the day, that's his company. He's the majority owner. So they're not going to they can't fully get rid of CZ. They can't force him, to sell off a private company, a company that's, his. That's the way it goes. They just wanted him to step down as CEO, and pay that fine mainly.
It's cool to see a decentralized exchange excel. Also, altcoin Radix making moves just in. Radix attracts $20 million in total value locked after only 8 weeks. No smart contract hacks and exploits, next generation UX, and DevX, hidden L1 gem. Could this be the next Sol? And of course, Bonsai's seed just went live. I am an investor. Help us build the future of no-code Web3 project management. From token creation to the sale, we've made it simple and secure. Basically, what this platform is aiming to be, it's a no-code toolkit for projects to launch on as a competition to PinkSale. So again, a no-code toolkit for the builders. Mainnet goes live next week. It's cool to see some of the innovation in the space. Like always, see you tomorrow.
Have you heard? The Xfinity Mobile.
All right, yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in here at Crypto Nation. Yeah, if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks for tuning in. And there we have it. Reacted to the Altcoin Daily. Hey, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the next one. Take care.